We have the reading of the previous day's journal.
Assembly Chamber, Sacramento, Thursday, August 27, 2009. The Assembly met at 9 a.m. Honorable Alberto
Mr. Tirico moves. Mr. Blakely seconds. That the reading of the previous day's journals be dispensed with. Presentations and petitions, there are none. Introduction and reference of bills will be deferred. Reports of committees will be deemed read, and amendments deemed adopted. Messages from the governor, there are none. Messages from the Senate, there are none. Motions and resolutions, there are none. Recognition of Mr. Tirico. For what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under motions and resolutions, I hereby request unanimous consent to allow Speaker Bass to have guests and photographers on the floor today.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I request unanimous consent to allow Assemblymember Fong to have a very special guest at his desk during session today.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I request unanimous consent to allow the following members to personally adjourn in memory of individuals today: Mr. Amiano, Ms. Harkey, Mr. Nastandi, and myself.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, at the request of the authors, please return the following bills to the Senate for further action. File item, AB 563 by Mr. Cook.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, at the request of the authors, please send the following bills to the inactive file. File item 12, AB 80 by Mr. Blakesley. File item 171, SB 450 by Mr. Lowenthal, Senator Lowenthal.
Without objection.
And finally, Mr. Speaker, at the request of the authors, I'm giving a one-day notice of intent to remove the following bills from the inactive file. File item A-12, SB 131 by Senator Wiggins, and file item A-53, SB 811 by Senator Desaulniers.
Clerk will note. Members, we have a special guest in the chambers. She's sitting at the desk of Assemblymember Paul Fong. We'll ask Mr. Fong to please rise and introduce his special guest.
She's my daughter, Nicole Fong.
Welcome to the chambers. We have, members, we have a special presentation by Ms. Salas and Mr. Block. Ms. Salas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. It's with great pride and joy that I rise today to announce and recognize our Parkview Little League All-Stars and this year's world champions. They won their game this past weekend. The Blue Bombers from my hometown, Chula Vista, became not only California's team, but the United States team in winning the Little League World Series. And Parkview Little League set the record for the number of runs during a World Series by hitting 19 home runs. And I'm going to pass this over to my colleague, Marty Block. Many of the Little Leaguers actually live in his district, but they play in my district.
Mr. Block.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I'm quite proud to say that over the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, I watched games in my district at the middle school where most of the Parkview Little Leaguers attend, and got to sit with their coaches, their principal, their extended family, and cheer them on. This T-shirt represents the efforts of the Parkview Little League. On the back of the T-shirt, it said, "Best in the West," which is what they were up until this weekend. Then they became best in the United States, and yesterday, with chants of USA, USA, they became best in the world. So congratulations again to the Parkview Little League.
And just one more word. I live in downtown Chula Vista, and the moment they won the game, there was just a spontaneous eruption and celebration in our city. And our downtown 3rd Avenue just became packed with cars blaring on their their horns. And, this is the kind of uplifting, joyful event that we needed in the state of California with everything that we're facing now, is to not lose hope and joy with the young people of our state of California.
Thank you. Members will now move to file item 8, AB 804. Oh, yes, absolutely. Mr. Nilo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. There's those of us in the North share the pride of those in the South for this first California team to win the World Series since I think I read it was 1994 or so. But in a absolutely shameless show of pride, of similar pride, it was a team from Granite Bay that your team beat to go to the World Series, and that was a very hard-fought series also, very close, and we are very proud of our kids that lost only to the team that won the whole enchilada. So congratulations to your team, and we are also very proud of ours.
Thank you. Members will move to file item 6, AB 804, Hall. Ms. Noreen Evans will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 804 by Assemblymember Hall, an act relating to invasive aquatic species.
Ms. Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very pleased to present this on behalf of our Speaker Pro Tem. The Senate amendments delete the study and therefore remove the cost from this bill. AB 804 relates to an invasive species, quagga mussels, and is supported by numerous water agencies and received unanimous support in both houses. Mr. Hall asks for your concurrence in Senate amendments.
Seeing and hearing no debate, clerk open the roll. All those voters are to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 46, noes 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Well, I closed it early because I knew that you would probably change your vote, Mr. Duvall. Very well. Without objection, we'll return to second reading, and clerk will read.
Assembly concur in Resolution 89 with amendments and Senate Bill 832 with amendments.
All bills will be deemed read and amendments adopted. Very well. Okay. We'll move to file item 8, AB 1447. Mr. Pettis, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1447 by Assemblymember John A. Perez, an act relating to State Compensation Insurance Fund.
Mr. Pettis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, AB 1447 clarifies that for the purpose of the auditing provisions of the Government Code, the State Compensation Insurance Fund is a state agency as defined by Government Code Section 11,000. Senate amendments update the requirements of what the State Compensation Insurance Fund must disclose on all advertisements. The new disclosure language is more accurate and aims to ensure that SCIF's competitors are aware of the state compensation funds, has no unfair advantage because of its unique relationship with the state of California. This bill passed the Senate floor on consent, and I respectfully ask for your concurrence in Senate amendments.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 54, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 9 passed temporarily. Oh, you're back. We'll move to file item 9, ACR 29. Mr. Jones, clerk will read.
Assembly concur in Resolution 29 by Assembly Member Jones relative to health disparities.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Speaker, members, ACR 29, back on concurrence from the Senate, calls on the California Health and Human Services Agency, the primary state agency for addressing health, poverty, and social well-being, to focus on preventing, reducing, and eliminating health disparities among racial and ethnic populations. As California becomes more diverse, more Californians will face poor health outcomes if we don't address health disparities. This resolution received unanimous votes in the Assembly and only one no vote in the Senate. I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 57, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file item 8, AJR. File item 10, AJR number 8. Mr. Monning, clerk will read.
Assembly Joint Resolution 8 by Assembly Member Monning and others, and that relative to marine mammal protection.
Mr. Monning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, AJR 8 was amended in the Senate to make a technical change to add co-authors. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. This is the marine protection on swordfish importation. Bipartisan support. Thank you.
Seeing and hearing no debaters or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 46, noes 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Please note that the Assembly floor computer system is down and they are currently working on repairing that, so please be patient. It's the internet system, so if you're trying to browse the web, please be patient. They're working on that. Move to file item 11, AB number 18. Mr. Knight, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 18 by Assembly Member Knight, an act relating to local government.
Mr. Knight.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 18 returned to the Senate for amendments is back for concurrence. The original language of AB 18 is still intact. However, the amendments addressing conflicting government code sections with regard to city council elections. Essentially, when a city is incorporated, voters have the opportunity to elect their city council members in one of three ways: by district, from district, or at large. If voters opt to change the election system, it also changes the length of terms for the city council members. If this occurs, it is unclear as to whether the council members with the top two or the bottom three votes received would be up for re-election. If these codes are not brought into conformity, the term of a council member would potentially be cut short. Therefore, AB 18 has taken amendments to conform these three sections of the government code. This ensures that regardless of which election system the people initially choose, if they decide later to be represented differently, the same number of council members would be up for re-election at the first election following incorporation. This bill has been crafted with Cal LAFCO and with the League of California Cities and passed the Senate on the special consent calendar. I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those voters are to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 59, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 12, file item 13, file item 14, file item 15 are passed and retained. We'll move to file item 16, AB 523. Mr. Huffman, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 523 by Assemblymember Huffman, an act relating to health facilities and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Mr. Huffman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 523 provides a 2-year extension to current seismic safety retrofit deadlines for Marin General Hospital. It's a bill that's been very narrowly tailored to apply to the specific circumstances of Marin General, which involve the hospital actually transitioning from private operation back to public control and operation in the next few years. It will, again, apply only to this hospital and only if the hospital returns to public control. This is an essential safety net hospital for Marin County members. It is the only provider of emergency trauma care in the county, and it's facing some unique challenges that require this modest extension. It has no opposition, and I request an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters are to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 61, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. On the urgent. Okay, very well. Senate amendments are concurred in. Mr. Tirico, for what purpose do you rise?
Mr. Speaker, if we could return to motion resolutions, please.
Without objection.
Hereby request unanimous consent to hold Assembly Bill 523 by Mr. Huffman, bill we just took up. Hold that bill at the Assembly desk unless otherwise ordered to the Governor by the Speaker or the Assembly.
Without objection. Mr. Tirico.
And at the request of the author, please remove file item number 174, ACR 91 by Mr. Liu from the consent calendar.
Without objection. File item 17 passed and retained. Move to file item 18, AB 647. Ms. Yamada, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 647 by Assemblymember Yamada, an act relating to vehicles.
Ms. Yamada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 647 returns to us on Senate concurrence. This bill would seek to require the California Department of Motor Vehicles to comply with the stipulations that consumer access to vehicle registration history be provided directly. At the moment, California is the only state participating in the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System that denies direct consumer access to this information. Given the Cash for Clunkers program that we have all just benefited from as a nation, it becomes more important now than ever to allow direct consumer access to this information at low cost. Currently, this information is only available to California consumers through a private vendor at a much higher cost. Carfax charges somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 for vehicle history. I ask for your aye vote on this important bill.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters are to vote. 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 Clerk will close roll, tally the votes. Ayes 62, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 19 passed temporarily. Move to file item 20, AB 800. Mr. Duvall, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 800 by Assemblymember Duvall, an act relating to insurance.
Mr. Duvall, are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am, sir.
Very well. You may begin.
Okay. This is the an annual insurance omnibus bill sponsored by the Department of Insurance. Sorry. The Senate amendments were made and changes to allow applications to request a paper application if they wish to do so, if not online. I urge an aye vote.
Very well. Thank you. Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters are to vote. All those voters are to vote. All those voters are to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 58, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file item 21, AB 892. Mr. Furutani, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 892 by Assembly Member Furutani, an act relating to air pollution and making appropriation, therefore.
Mr. Furutani.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Members, AB 892 addresses a problem in the Prop 1B Goods Movement Emissions Reduction Program that is delaying critical emission reduction projects around the state. Basically, AB 892 allows the local air district to use funds from a canceled project for another CARB-approved project on the district's waiting list. This process is similar to what is allowed in the Carl Moyer program. This bill will get 1B grants into the hands of truck owners faster, resulting in cleaner air, green jobs, and more efficient good movements. I respectfully urge and I vote.
Seeing here no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 62, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file item 22, AB 904. Mr. V. Manny Perez, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 904 by Assembly Member V. Manuel Perez, an act relating to local government finance.
Mr. Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, members. AB 904 will allow counties to offer a capital investment incentive to facilities that manufacture parts or components related to the production of energy using renewable sources. Amendments taken in the Senate include adding a sunset provision and ensuring our schools do not lose funding while counties offer the incentive. AB 904 has received no votes and has wide bipartisan support. I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 61, noes 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. We'll move to item 23, AB 952. Mr. Krikorian, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 952 by Assembly Member Krikorian, an act relating to health information.
Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, AB 952 will allow Taft-Hartley trusts, health plans governed by the Federal Department of Labor, to administer their benefits for their enrollees in a more efficient manner. The bill clarifies the applicability of the California Confidentiality of Medical Information Act on Taft-Hartley plans and allows sharing of vital data for benefit administration while maintaining the rigid privacy protections of the CMIA. The amendments taken in the Senate were technical in nature, and this bill has enjoyed unanimous support on consent since its first policy committee hearing here and in both houses. I respectfully ask for your concurrence in the Senate amendments.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. All those vote desire to vote. All those vote desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 64, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Members, please join me at the rear of the chamber in recognizing the council member from San Jose, Ms. Nora Campos. Ms. Nora Campos, please. Welcome to the chambers. We'll move now to file item 24, AB 9. File item 24 passed temporarily. File 25 passed and retained. File item 26, AB 1072. Mr. Ng, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1072 by Assembly Member Ng, an act relating to transportation and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Transportation, though. Good morning, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 1072. This bill prescribes the specific formula to be used to distribute transit funds from Prop 1B bond dollars. This bill passed the Senate with no votes and only one technical amendment requested by the administration dealing with transmitting report information to the Department of Finance. I request your aye vote on concurrence. This is an urgency for a very common sense measure. Thank you.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 64, no 0 on the urgency. Ayes 64, no 0. And Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file item 27, AB 1096. Ms. Galgiani, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1096 by Assemblymember Galgiani, an act relating to elections.
Ms. Galgiani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 1096 requires information on precinct boundaries be made available in both print and electronic formats, and that election officials make information available to the public. In the last 10 years, county election officials have shifted to using electronic methods to create and update precinct boundaries. This bill simply ensures that vendors and other interested members of the public have access to data that already exists and was created at public expense. I ask for your aye vote.
Right. Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those vote, desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tie the votes. Aye 65, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file item 28, AB 1165. Ms. Yamada, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1165 by Assemblymember Yamada, an act relating to flood protection.
Ms. Yamada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 1165 returns to us from special consent, concurrence, and Senate amendments, makes various cleanup and technical clarifications to the 2007 Comprehensive Flood Package. I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate, clerk open the roll. All those vote, desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll, tie the votes. Aye 64, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 29, passed and retained. With file item 30, AB 1255. Mr. Tom Bettyhill, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1255 by Assemblymember Tom Berryhill, an act relating to agriculture and making appropriation, therefore.
Mr. Berryhill.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 1255 has unanimous support and seeks to extend the sunset on the annual county subvention for the enforcement of California seed law. Senate amendments were clarifying and intend to ensure the program, funded completely by the industry, provides counties with a source of revenue to cover a portion of their costs for enforcing the seed law. This funding ensures counties have the ability to quickly respond when the need is there, and I ask for your concurrence on these Senate amendments. Thank you.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those vote, desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll, tie the votes. Ayes 58, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file item 31, AB 1311. Mr. Duvall, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1311 by Assemblymember Duvall and others, an act relating to state government.
Mr. Duvall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This intent of this bill is simply to delete an outdated reporting requirements, thereby saving money and being more efficient. Senate amendments removed one of the reporting requirements to be deleted by this bill. I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those vote, desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tie the votes. Ayes 64, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 32, passed temporarily. Move to file item 33, AB 1471. Mr. Ng, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1471 by Assemblymember Ng, an act relating to procurement.
Mr. Ng.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Assembly Bill 1471 is back for concurrence. AB 1471 is a simple bill. It streamlines the procurement process for the LA County Metropolitan Transportation Authority. All of these changes are technical in nature and aim to clarify existing provisions and to enable the Metro to facilitate portions of its procurement process. Technical amendments were taken in the Senate to clarify this bill. The measure, members, was on consent throughout the Assembly and Senate with no votes. Respectfully request an aye vote.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those vote, desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tie the votes. Ayes 67, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. With file item 34, AB 1486. Mr. Furutani, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1486 by Assemblymember Furutani, an act relating to taxation to take effect immediately tax levy.
Mr. Furutani.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Members, Assembly Bill 1486.
Mr. Furutani. Members. Mr. Furutani.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Assembly Bill 1486 seeks to simplify state sales tax reporting rules for nonprofit entities by granting them consumer status for purposes of reporting sales tax for the sale of certain items to their members. The bill has a number of safeguards to seek to mitigate any potential abuses, and amendments were taken in the Senate to make sure those were taken up and clarified. AB 1486 has received unanimous support thus far. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 66, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 35 is passed and retained. File item 36 passed temporarily. File item 37, AB 11, Mr. DeLeon, passed temporarily. File item 38 passed and retained. 39, AB 171, Mr. Jones. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 171 by Assemblymember Jones, an act relating to dental services.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Members, AB 171 provides consumer protections to patients offered credit arrangements at dental offices. Senate amendments ensure that staff model dental plans, which employ dentists, are regulated by the Department of Managed Health Care, that they comply with the requirements of this bill, particularly with regard to providing timely refunds to patients for services that haven't been received. The bill's received bipartisan support in both houses. It's supported by the California Dental Association and a number of consumer advocacy groups. I ask for your aye vote on concurrence.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 64, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 40, passed and retained. Passed temporarily. File item 41, passed and retained. We'll move to file item 42. AB 248, Ms. Bonnie Lowenthal. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 248 by Assemblymember Bonnie Lowenthal, an act relating to ballast water management.
Ms. Lowenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 248 passed out of this House on a vote of 70-0. The Senate added some minor clarifying amendments. You may remember it deals with ship logs and ballast water and keeping invasive species out of our water. There is no opposition, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those who desire to vote, please vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 65, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file item 43, AB 254. Mr. Jeffries, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 254 by Assemblymember Jeffries and others, an act relating to vehicles.
Mr. Jeffries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this is the bill that allows emergency vehicles to utilize toll lanes without any fees or fines being charged to them when they are responding to emergencies. We took some minor amendments over in the Senate, back for concurrence. Appreciate your support.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 Ayes 64, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Thanks to Mr. Valines. Move to file item 44, AB 370. Mr. Ng, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 370 by Assemblymember Ng and others, an act relating to contractors.
Mr. Ng.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 370 is back for concurrence. This is an important measure, members, that California consumers and law-abiding contractors, by requiring that restitution be made to victims of unscrupulous, unlicensed contractors. It increases fines for unlicensed contracting violations and clarifies the mandatory minimum fines to apply to repeat offenders. The Senate amendments help narrowly tailor the bill to assist law enforcement and the state contractors licensing board so that it can protect consumers and punish these unlawful actions. This bill has no registered opposition and passed the Senate with no votes. Respectfully request an aye vote.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 65, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 45, passed and retained. Move to file item 46, AB 466. Mr. Cotto, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 466 by Assemblymember Cotto and others, an act relating to Santa Clara Valley Water District.
Mr. Cotto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This bill is a district act that provides 12 key points of open government reforms for the Santa Clara Valley Water District. The bill has bipartisan support and is supported by the Santa Clara Valley Water District. It is back for concurrence in Senate technical amendments. I ask for your concurrence with Senate amendments.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 66, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 47 passed temporarily. Move to file item 48, AB 632. Mr. Davis, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 632 by Assemblymember Davis, an act relating to privacy.
Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This bill, AB 632, I'm asking for concurrence in Senate amendments. As you know, this is a bill that will require that social network users be given a warning that their picture can be copied by others who are viewing it. The Senate amendments are simply giving the flexibility to the providers to either enter that notice on their private policy statement, their terms of use, or their picture upload page. And finally, it asks that we delete in this legislation the definition of social networking. With that, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 Mr. Davis moves the call. Move to file item 49, AB 774. Mr. Cook, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 774 by Assemblymember Cook and others, an act relating to community colleges.
Mr. Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 774 will allow, though not require, a student-funded transit program at any community college in California. And this program would allow students to ride local transit systems for a small one-time per semester fee. This bill has had no negative votes. It passed out of the Senate 38, where it was expanded. It had, as I said, students, transit districts, everyone else is on board with this. And as I said, so far we've had no negative votes. I ask for your aye.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 60, noes 1. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 50 passed and retained. With file item 51, AB 992. Mr. Liu, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 992 by Assemblymember Liu, an act relating to unfair business practices.
Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 992 strengthens California law relative to property tax reassessment solicitations. The Senate amendments are technical in nature. This bill is sponsored by the LA County District Attorney. There's no opposition. Respectfully request an aye vote.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters are to vote. All those voters are to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 49, noes 2. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file on 52, AB 1093, Ms. Yamada. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1093 by Assemblymember Yamada, an act relating to workers' compensation.
Ms. Yamada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 1093 returned to us for concurrence and Senate amendments. This bill was brought forward in response to the death and subsequent denial of workers' compensation benefits to Ms. Tanika Talley, a 26-year-old African-American woman who was murdered at the Dollar Tree store in Fairfield in my district. The ambiguity in the law allowed the workers' compensation insurance company to initially deny death benefit claims to Ms. Talley's family because part of the reason for her death was her assailant got up that morning and said that he was going to kill the first black person he saw that day. This bill has received strong bipartisan support, initially passed this floor on an 80-0 vote. I respectfully ask your aye vote.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters are to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 60, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file on 53, AB 1136. Mr. Fong. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1136 by Assemblymember Fong, an act relating to county employees' retirement.
Mr. Fong.
Mr. Speaker and members, AB 1136 will provide retired county employees flexibility to alter their retirement allowance if their life circumstances have changed after retirement. This bill only affects those counties who have adopted a post-retirement spouse provision and whose retirement plan is governed by the County Employees Retirement Law of 1937. AB 1136 is narrow in scope. Senate amendments were technical and clarifying. It's sponsored by the California Retired County Employees Association and supported by PORAC. It has no opposition. I respectfully request your concurrence in Senate amendments.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters are to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 41, noes, ayes 42, noes 17. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file item 54, AB 1158. Ms. Hayashi. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1158 by Assemblymember Hayashi, an act relating to transit facilities.
Ms. Hayashi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I ask for your concurrence in Senate amendments for AB 1158. This bill adds educational facilities and higher education institutions to the current list of characteristics that a city or county may use to create a transit village plan. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters are to vote. All those voters are to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those voters are to vote. All those voters are to vote. All those vote who desires to vote. All should vote who desires to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Ms. Hayashi moves the call. File item 55, pass and retain. Move to file item 56, AB 1230. I'm sorry, we'll go to file item 19, AB 659, Ms. Hayashi. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 659 by Assemblymember Hayashi, an act relating to taxation to take effect immediate tax levy.
Ms. Hayashi.
Okay. Oh, Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I ask for your concurrence in Senate amendments for AB 659. This bill relieves dry cleaners from having to collect and remit sales tax when they sell very small items. The amendment simply added a sunset date. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote.
Pedro.
All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Aye 62, no 0. Senate amendment are concurred in. We're just going to go back to file item 40. AB 235, Ms. Hayashi, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 235 by Assemblymember Hayashi, an act relating to emergency services.
Ms. Hayashi.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker and members, I ask for your concurrence in Senate amendments for AB 235. The bill seeks to clarify the role of hospitals and healthcare providers when a patient is seeking care for a psychiatric medical emergency. The amendments in the Senate were technical and clarifying only and did not change the scope of the bill. The bill is sponsored by the California Hospital Association. No opposition to the bill. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Aye 62, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Members will move to file item 32, AB 1324. Ms. Bass, Mr. Amiano will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1324 by Assemblymember Bass, an act relating to public social services.
Mr. Amiano.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. AB 1324 is a technical cleanup of a bill authored by formerly Assemblymember Bill Mays, which helps foster youth uncover identity theft before the youth leaves foster care at age 18. The Senate amendments are technical and clarifying. The bill passed through the Assembly on consent. I ask for your concurrence in Senate amendments.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those vote who desires to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Aye 63, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 55, pass and retain. File item 56, AB 1232. Mr. Huffman, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1232 by Assemblymember Huffman and others, an act relating to local government.
Mr. Huffman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This House passed a broader version of this bill in the Senate. Amendments were taken to clarify that it applies only to the member agencies of the Sewerage Agency of Southern Marin, and also to allow the Marin LAFCO to impose certain terms and conditions in the event of consolidation of those agencies. I respectfully request your aye vote for this district bill.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 Mr. Huffman moves the call. With file item 57, AB 1245, Mr. Monning, clerk will read. We're having technical difficulties, Mr. Monning. 1 second. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1245 by Assemblymember Monning, an act relating to public records.
Mr. Monning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 1245 was amended in the Senate to require that the Secretary of State's office or local agency provide upon request a copy or digital image of any record that is returned to them. This has no opposition on file. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those vote, desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 65, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. With filing 58, AB 1379. Mr. Hill, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1379 by Assemblymember Hill, an act relating to vehicles.
Mr. Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's AB 1379. There were some Senate technical amendments that I'm asking for your concurrence on today. There's no opposition to this bill. It received bipartisan support. AB 1379 increases the base fine for spilled load violations from commercial vehicles on our roads and highways. I wanted to thank two of my constituents whose ideas resulted in this bill, Scott Bushman from San Bruno and Ida Cook from Half Moon Bay. It's supported by the Teamsters Public Affairs Council and the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. I ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Very well. Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those vote, desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 45. Ayes 47, noes 11. Senate amendments are concurred in. Filing 59, AB 1393. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1393 by Assemblymember Skinner and others, an act relating to foster youth.
Ms. Skinner. Ms. Skinner, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Assembly Bill 1393, which gives priority on campus housing for foster youth. For those California public post-secondary education campuses that maintain student housing facilities, they would give priority to current and former foster youth. The Senate amendments clarify that foster youth will be given priority only for housing facilities for which they are eligible. There is no fiscal impact, and it's a bipartisan measure that passed unanimously out of the Senate. It has no opposition. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate discussion, clerk open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 63, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. We'll file item 60, AB 1551. Mr. Fuentes, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1551 by the Assembly Committee on Utilities and Commerce, an act relating to energy and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Mr. Fuentes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a simple cleanup bill. I respectfully ask for your aye vote on the concurring amendments made by the Senate.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 65, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Move to file item 47, AB 468. Ms. Hayashi, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 468 by Assemblymember Hayashi, an act relating to Public Employees Medical and Hospital Care Act.
Ms. Hayashi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I ask for your concurrence in Senate amendments for AB 468. This is a district bill that will not cost the state any money. In fact, it would save money for the Alameda County Transportation Improvement Authority by requiring employees to work there for at least 5 years rather than 1 day before being able to get eligibility for retirement. The amendments drafted by CalPERS are very technical. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 All those vote who wish to vote. Ms. Hayashi moves the call. Oh, clerk close the roll. Ayes 41, noes 25. Senate amendments are concurred in. Members, we'll move to file item 68, H.R. 11. Mr. Ruskin, clerk will read.
House Resolution 11 by Assemblymember Ruskin relative to drinking water treated with chlorine and chloramine.
Thank you,
Mr. Ruskin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members. House Resolution 11 asks the California Department of Public Health to review public health concerns relating to the use of chlorine and chloramine as drinking water disinfectants to provide a comparative analysis for better understanding the possible effects of chloramine. The resolution also makes a request of the United States Environmental Protection Agency. I introduced H.R. 11 because people in my district believe they have suffered health effects since chloramine was placed in our area's water system. To date, interestingly, there have been no comprehensive tests of chloramine in the United States. While the number of people complaining about chloramines is a small minority, I believe we should make efforts to ensure that the public policies are healthful to all. There is no opposition to this resolution. The major water agencies in my area have worked cooperatively on amendments that were adopted by voice vote last week on this floor. I ask for an aye vote.
Members, we'll have a voice vote on the resolution. All in favor signify by the normal sound of aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. We'll move to file item 70, ACR 76. Mr. Ng. Clerk will read.
Assembly concur in Resolution 76 by Assemblymember Ng and others relative to the day of inclusion.
Mr. Ng.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. ACR 76 would acknowledge December 17th as a, quote, day of inclusion, unquote, in recognition and appreciation of the priceless contributions of all immigrants to the greatness of the United States, and especially to the great state of California. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 was the first major law. Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, may I have the attention of the body?
Yes, members, I'm going to ask, I've asked 2 times already, I'm going to ask the members to be respectful of other members presenting their bills.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I proceed?
Please do.
Thank you. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 was the first major law to single out and forbid a specific ethnic group, the Chinese, from immigrating to and becoming naturalized citizens of the United States. In the wake of this statute, additional laws were enacted to perpetuate discrimination and unequal treatment of Chinese and other minority groups. On December 17, 1943, the Magnuson Act repealed the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 and marked a turning point regarding society's harsh attitudes toward immigration and immigrants. By repealing the Chinese exclusion prohibitions, the United States expressed its commitment to continue to break down cultural barriers, appreciate differences, enrich cultural diversity, and further racial, religious, and cultural tolerance. This resolution is not so much about the Chinese Exclusion Act, but about the need to have inclusiveness for all of California. Respectfully request an aye vote.
Members, we're going to have a voice vote on the resolution. All in favor signify by the normal sound of aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. Move to file item 71, AJR 19. Ms. Brownlee, clerk will read.
Assembly Joint Resolution 19 by Assemblymember Brownlee and others relative to marriage.
Ms. Brownlee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. In 1996, Congress enacted the Federal Defense of Marriage Act, or commonly referred to as DOMA. DOMA defines marriage as a legal union between a man and a woman for purposes of all federal laws and rights. It allows states to refuse to recognize same-sex marriages conducted in other states. In 2004, the U.S. Government Accountability Office updated its list of the ways in which federal government now discriminates against married same-sex couples. The list is quite long, but a few examples go like this: sponsoring a spouse for immigration benefits, accessing Social Security survivor benefits, receiving health insurance for federal employee spouses, and hundreds of other protections heterosexual couples take for granted. AJR 19 puts California on record in support of an immediate repeal of the Defense of Marriage Act. This measure asks Congress and the President to treat all Americans equally. Repealing DOMA will not force any state to alter their current laws regarding same-sex marriage. Let me repeat. Repealing DOMA will not force any state to alter their current laws regarding same-sex marriages. President Obama, former President Bill Clinton, who signed DOMA into law when he was president, and former Congressman Bob Barr, DOMA's author, are all now calling for the repeal of DOMA. Members, regardless of how you feel about same-sex marriages, in California we have 18,000 legal same-sex marriages that were performed before the passage of Proposition 8. Some of these couples, many of these couples, all of these couples are our friends and are members of our families. We have a responsibility and a duty to demand that these law-abiding couples and their families be treated fairly and equally under the law. Thank you, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote on this important resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Brownlee. Are you asking for co-authors as well?
Yes.
The clerk will open the roll. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Tran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I rise in strong opposition to AJR 19, which seeks to repeal the Defense of Marriage Act, or DOMA. This would run counter to an overwhelming vote of both houses of Congress and to the similar position held in favor of traditional marriage of about 40 state governments. This includes California with its passage of Proposition 8, recently upheld by the California State Supreme Court. The proponents of same-sex marriage contend that the DOMA violates the federal Constitution, but they have not succeeded thus far in having the federal courts declare it unconstitutional. One argument raised by the opponents of DOMA is that it unconstitutionally infringes upon the state power in violation of the 10th Amendment. However, the Defense of Marriage Act does not overstep the boundary between federal and state authorities. Although DOMA concerns a definition of marriage, and marriage is reserved for state jurisdiction, the 10th Amendment cannot be used against DOMA because the definition of marriage in this federal law is at least not binding on the states. States retain the power to decide for themselves what is the proper definition of marriage is to be. In California and in about 40 other states, they continue to define marriage as between a man and a woman. Another argument raised by opponents of DOMA is that DOMA violates the Due Process and Equal Protection Clause of the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution on the grounds that the right to marry someone of the same sex is a fundamental right entitled to the heightened security or scrutiny, actually, and that DOMA's exclusion of federal benefits for same-sex marriage infringes upon the right to marry someone of the same sex. However, despite a California Supreme Court interpretation of the California Constitution and the filing of a recent action in the federal courts by Proposition 8 opponents, there is, at least at this time, no direct binding precedent by the U.S. Supreme Court analysis of the U.S. Constitution to hold same-sex marriage to be a fundamental right. Therefore, a rational basis review would be the appropriate level of scrutiny to apply for purposes of a due process analysis of this legislation. Furthermore, Justice Marvin Baxter, joined by Justice Ming Chin, in his dissent in remarriage cases in 2008 concerning the statutory initiative of Proposition 22, clearly stated that same-sex marriage cannot be deemed a fundamental right for constitutional protection as it lacks deeply rooted tradition in our state and in our country. The legislative history of DOMA identifies 4 governmental interests advanced by this legislation. 1, defending and nurturing the institution of traditional heterosexual marriage. 2, defending traditional notions of morality. 3, protecting state sovereignty and democratic self-governance. And lastly, preserving the scarce government resources, as DOMA neither burdens a fundamental right nor targets a suspect class, and otherwise provides for a statutory classification that bears a traditional relation to a legitimate government objective. I therefore urge your no vote on this piece of resolution calling for the repeal of DOMA. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fuhrer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This resolution is very important for two reasons. First, it's important because it protects states' rights, including the rights of the state of California. And second, it's important because it protects individual rights, including particularly, as Ms. Brownlee indicated, the rights of our friends and neighbors here in our state. Now, we've just heard a very elaborate argument about constitutional law here. I'm not going to contest that argument, nor am I going to agree with it. I don't think we need to even go to that argument on this floor. It's an important states' rights bill as a matter of policy, at least. Those on this floor who consistently promote the idea of local control in states' rights should consider that's what this bill does. It doesn't tell any state to do anything. It simply allows each state, their voters, their Supreme Courts, their legislatures, to decide for themselves how they wish to deal with the issue of same-sex marriage. To vote against this resolution is to say that we want to stand in opposition to allowing local leaders, state leaders, to decide for themselves. It's an important individual rights bill. Now, the term morality was just used on this floor. I will say for the moment that, on my view, this issue boils down to the basic recognition of the humanity of each other. But you don't need to go there either. Consider the practical implications of the status quo. What if you found yourself in a situation in which your parents or your grandparents in another state fell very ill, and you and your spouse were confronted with a very difficult decision whether to go to their bedside to care for them? The status quo says if you are one of the 18,000 married same-sex couples in California confronting this decision if your parents lived elsewhere, you have a choice. You either preserve the rights you have under California law as married spouses, or you discard those rights if you happen to go to a state to care for your loved ones where those rights aren't recognized. Another practical implication of the status quo. If you defend the status quo, you're saying to that same couple, if a good job opportunity arises in a different state, don't go there at the risk of losing your basic rights. And the same is true in reverse. We are all concerned about reviving California's economy. The perpetuation of DOMA says to same-sex couples in other states who have been granted the right to marry, don't come to California, no matter how skilled you are in your profession, because those rights which you fought hard for in the state from which you come will not be protected at this moment in the state of California, and we lose those skills and that brain power here in our state. So to sort of de-escalate the controversy around this measure, I would call on colleagues on both sides of the aisle to consider not issues of constitutional law even, or issues of morality. Consider the practical application of the status quo if you found yourself as a partner in a married couple in the situations I just mentioned, and how you would feel if you couldn't make basic choices that you take for granted because of a federal law that the President of the United States has called to repeal. I would urge an aye vote on this measure, and I'm very proud to be a joint author with our colleague, Ms. Brownlee.
Mr. Amiano.
Thank you very much, colleagues. I can't match the eloquence of my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fewer, but I will say I'm tired of being a bridesmaid and never a bride. It's time to repeal DOMA. It was signed late at night. Many of the people who were signatories have now jumped ship. It's been very made clear by the Obama administration that repeal is in the bullpen. Let's do the right thing today. Let's not grandstand. Let us vote aye on this simple recognition of a basic right.
Thank you. Mr. Knight.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to this. This is a perfect example of bringing forward something that will confuse our voters. We'll try and make it so they don't know what they're talking about. We're much smarter than they are up here in Sacramento, and we can do these little bits to fix their vote, to fix what they believe. They don't know, most people, that there's a problem with this issue. That DOMA at the federal level, that if we can go and we can vote for this type of issue in California, but we have to change it at the federal level, then why can't we just change it here in California? Well, I contest that there will be bills, there will be AGRs that will come forward, that we will try and take little bites, little pieces away from a vote that people, 52% of the population here in California, have already voted for. DOMA has been considered by the proponents of same-sex marriage to be unconstitutional, but yet they have not gotten it through a federal court. So I ask you, why is this the biggest issue in the world? The voters here in California have spoken. It's been very clear. I urge you to vote no on this AGR.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson.
Members, I rise in opposition. A lot of these arguments have been said before, but look, the voters have spoken. The voters have spoken. They've spoken on more than one occasion, and we continue to ignore them. So now we're going to go to the federal government to get done what we could have done here. We say the argument's the 10th Amendment. Well, if it's the 10th Amendment, then shouldn't our voters have the most say? Why are we going to voters of other areas of our country to decide what happens in California? I ask for a no vote.
Thank you. Mr. DeVore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I rise in opposition to this Assembly joint resolution. I was listening very carefully to some of the remarks previously made by individuals in support of this measure. My distinguished colleague from Los Angeles labeled this measure very important, and my distinguished colleague from San Francisco said, quote, "Let's not grandstand." Ladies and gentlemen, this is a joint resolution. It is not a bill. You might say, by definition, it's grandstanding and it's not important. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that it bears repeating that the voters of the state of California have twice spoken with Proposition 22 and Proposition 8. They have made their wishes known. And yet this body that represents the people in a state that is still going bankrupt, whose budget is growing more out of balance by the day, is now taking time out of its legislative calendar to debate a measure that is grandstanding and frankly isn't important because it is not binding. It has no effect even if it passes. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may know, there is pending a voter initiative to make this legislature part-time. And if I may respectfully submit, it is precisely displays like this Assembly joint resolution that will seal the fate of this legislature and make it part-time after next year. I guarantee it, because we are wasting the people's time on a symbolic measure that in point of fact is not important and is grandstanding and flies in the face of the voters of the state of California who have not voted once but twice to make their wishes known. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want this body to be part-time, go ahead and support this. I urge a no vote.
Mr. John Pettis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I rise to support this resolution, and quite frankly, I'm dismayed by some of the arguments against it. the notion that this is unimportant. The notion that when we speak about protecting the rights of the 18,000 couples that were married in California in that brief moment when they had a right to get married is unimportant. The notion that when we speak to their rights that it's wasting time, but when then somebody else speaks against their rights, it's a proper debate. There are 18,000 couples here in California, in all of our districts, who are able to avail themselves of a moment in time where they had a right to sanctify the love they had for each other and to have that relationship recognized by state law. The voters have voted. The Supreme Court has ruled. Those 18,000 couples still have rights in the state of California. What's at issue is that those 18,000 couples don't have the rights that so many of my colleagues have under the federal law. And that's what's at issue with this AJR, and that's what's at issue with respect to the overturning of DOMA. And to suggest that that is unimportant is quite frankly callous. It is quite frankly callous. And when marriage was legal for that brief period of time, I counted myself lucky to be able to conduct the marriage of several couples. And one of the couples I married had been together for 26 years, and another had been together for 40 years. And there were two men that I married that had been together for 46 years. They met in Korea, fighting for this country during the Korean War. They put their lives on the line for their country. They met each other, they fell in love, they made a life together, and last year, to see them be able to get married, something that they told me they never thought they'd be able to do in their lifetime, was an amazing experience. And to hear my colleagues say that is unimportant or a waste of time about whether we give those two veterans the right to enjoy the privileges of marriage under the federal law is quite frankly disheartening. Members, I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Mr. Swanson.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of AJR 19. It is amazing to me that we in this period will allow ourselves to argue about a basic right that all of us have to associate with whom we choose and to love whom we choose. And history will look back on this moment if it wasn't so painful and so serious for the families that are affected by the hypocrisy in our laws and the double standards that exist. It will look back on it and say, shame on us, because respecting each other and our right to love whom we want seems to be very fundamental to me. And I think that we need to move on and recognize each other's humanity. So I ask you to vote aye on AJR 19.
Okay. Mr. Jeffries. Oh, Mr. Miller, I'm sorry. I know I'll pay for that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Several statements this afternoon that have been stated have been true. I think it's important to note that some of us have pointed out that the voters have spoken about Proposition 22 and Proposition 8. It's true that the Congress unanimously passed DOMA. It's true that it may have been done in the late of night, but I think all of us can attest to making votes late at night and what the outcome is. It's also true that 18,000 couples were married. And I think that you cannot disregard the fact that they were married with the knowledge of what that meant, that there were existing rules in place, there were existing laws in place pertaining to how you file your taxes or how you do your finances. And they got married knowing what the situation was. and it doesn't entitle them, it doesn't entitle us to repeal the Defense of Marriage Act. And I urge a no vote.
Mr. Calderon.
Just a brief statement, Mr. Speaker and members. I support the measure, but for different reasons. It isn't, I mean, there are serious issues here in terms of whether or not the law applies to all. What Congress has done is Congress has said that other states cannot grant full faith and credit to our laws and decisions in California. It's also said that certain groups in California and other states can be treated differently. Look, I've said many times, I don't exactly understand how homosexuality works. I know it's been here since the beginning of time. I know people are still the same peoples except for their preference. But there are a lot of groups that I don't like, for instance, that get full protection from the First Amendment. For instance, Nazi groups, the KKK. There are many groups that receive protection, not because we like those groups or support their groups or stand for the same values that they stand for. They get the protection because the Constitution requires equal protection. The Constitution also grants states' rights. 14th Amendment says that all powers not granted by the Constitution are specifically reserved for the states. So there are some legal questions, but more important, constitutional questions which we have to deal with. And it's not about the group. It's not about the group. I understand why the issue is about the group, but it's not about the group. It's whether or not constitutional applies to California in terms of its states' rights. It's whether or not other states will give full faith and credit to the laws and decisions in California. And it's whether or not all groups are treated equally under the law. That's really what it is. It's an anomaly that we have this situation. It happened. You can explain it as well as I can, or can't explain it as well as I can. But the reality here is that these are questions which have implications far beyond the group that's involved here. So if you can separate yourself from the group, I'm asking you to do that. If you can't, then consider this. Without tolerance, there can be no social contract, and without a social contract, there can be no government. We have to tolerate. I mean, that is our strength. The only systems that don't tolerate change and don't tolerate differences are totalitarian regimes. So consider that in your vote and give an aye vote for this measure.
Thank you. Ms. Lowenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank my colleague, Ms. Brownlee, for bringing this forward, and I'm certainly a big supporter, and I strongly urge an aye vote for this matter. I think the idea that there might be a ballot measure and therefore we should not vote for this because other people will see that we're not doing business that they think is appropriate is completely wrong. And I don't think we should sell out our belief for human rights because of a ballot measure. And I strongly urge an aye vote.
All debate having ceased, I believe the first vote, we'll open the roll. You would like to close? Ms. Brownlee, go right ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to say that I appreciate all the comments that have been made on the floor. But I have to tell you that I take great offense to be told that this is a waste of time and that I'm grandstanding by bringing this to the floor. I am greatly offended by that. As a matter of fact, I believe this resolution, bringing this resolution forward, is one of the most important issues that I will bring to this floor in the tenure that I will serve in the Assembly. So, members, this is simply about a resolution that states that this body and the Senate will ask our President and our Congress to turn a decision around on DOMA, to repeal DOMA. Congress and the President have the ability, the political ability, to make this decision, and we're asking them to do that. Maybe you don't like it being called a political decision, but from my perspective, a political decision is a moral decision and one that the Congress can make. And there have been lots of debates here about whether it's a constitutional issue, a moral issue, a practical issue. And those debates are going to continue to go on, but by passing this this resolution today says that we believe what is right and moral, and we are asking that the President and Congress repeal DOMA. This has nothing to do about Proposition 8. This is about 18,000 married couples in the state of California, and for all of those same-sex married couples in other states who have legal marriages to be able to have their individual rights. And with that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Ms. Brownlee has asked for the roll to be open for co-authors. No? She has asked for the roll to be open for co-authors. And clerk will open the roll. Members, this is for co-authors. This is for co-authors, members. It's for co-authors. Clerk will close the roll. 43 co-authors. And now we'll open the roll for votes. All those vote, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 47, noes 25. Resolution is adopted. File item 73, pass and retain. File item 74, pass and retain. Okay. We're going to go back to concurrence file item 3. AB 328, Mr. Calderon. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 328 by Assemblymember Charles Calderon, an act relating to electronic transactions.
Mr. Calderon.
Yes, Mr. Speaker and members. This bill allows insurers to interact with their customers through the internet to provide notices and other information in connection with the policy, but only if the policy owner requests it. It is an effort to deal with the fact that there is something coming that even I don't like, and that is a paperless transaction. And as much as I hate it and like paper in some instances, we're going to a paperless society. So anyway, this is an effort. It requires insurance companies to maintain an electronic database confirming policyholder's decision to opt into an agreement. Requires insurance companies to maintain a system to electronically confirm a policy decision to opt into the agreement. Allow cancellation of a policy. Allows homeowners insurance policies to be sent electronically. I mean, these are routine things, but only if the policy owner requests it. Ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. All those vote, desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally votes. Ayes 65, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. We'll move to file item 24, AB 955. Mr. DeLeon, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 955 by Assemblymember De Leon, an act relating to public safety officers.
Mr. DeLeon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 955 seeks to clarify the Public Safety Officers Procedural Bill of Rights Act of 1997. Amendments taken in the Senate provided technical cleanup. This measure has received a bipartisan support and has received no votes. I respectfully ask for an aye vote on concurrence in Senate amendments.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. All those vote desire to vote. All those vote desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 70, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. We'll move to file item 37. AB 11, Mr. DeLeon, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 11 by Assemblymember De Leon and others, an act relating to taxation and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Mr. DeLeon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, as well as members. AB 11 seeks to protect our general fund by making it clear that California will not comply with the federal tax break that was issued by the U.S. Treasury last September. Amendments taken in the Senate added an urgency clause and strengthened the bill by inserting the pending Franchise Tax Board regulation that addresses this issue into our revenue and taxation code. This measure has received bipartisan support, and there have been no votes. I respectfully ask for an aye vote on concurrence in Senate amendments.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 70, noes 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. Mr. Tirico, for what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we could return to motions and resolutions.
Without objection.
At the request of Mr. Ng, hereby request unanimous consent to rescind the action on file item number 70, ACR 76. Mr. Ng would like to open the first roll for co-authors.
File item 70. ACR 76. Very well. Clerk will note. Without objection. We'll now go back to file item 70, ACR 76. Mr. Ng, the clerk will open the roll for co-authors on this. Members, this is for co-authors. Members, this is for co-authors. Clerk will close the roll. We have 53 co-authors. And now on the resolution, we'll entertain a voice vote on the resolution. All in favor signify by the normal sign of aye. Any opposed? Resolution is adopted. Mr. Tirico, for what purpose do you rise?
Under motions and resolutions, Mr. Speaker, hereby request immediate transmittal of file item number 60, AB 1551.
Without objection. Members, we're going to lift a call on file item 56, AB 1232. Mr. Huffman. Clerk will open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 42, noes 25. Senate amendments are concurred in. Members will now go to file item 75, SB 527. Ms. Kehoe, Mr. Garrick will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 527 by Senator
Kehoe, an act relating to bicycles.
Mr. Garrick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to urge you to vote for SB 527. This simply clarifies that it is legal to operate a seatless bicycle if the design and manufacture of the bicycle never included a seat from the beginning of the design or during its delivery. Seatless bicycles operate much like stationary bicycles or exercise machines. Step walkers, we know them also as. These except they have wheels in this case. While these modern bicycles meet the definition of a bicycle under California Vehicle Code, they do not conform to other provisions of the law requiring that a bicycle operator be on a seat when operating his bicycle. In June, the California Bicycle Advisory Committee adopted a position that the seatless bicycles are street-worthy, and all is required now is a clarification in the existing California statute to be legal. Earlier this month, I had an opportunity to tour the headquarters of Elliptico. Permission to show a little brochure here?
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If anyone would like to look at the design of this bike, it's very unique. And they are located just in my district. They are designing these bikes and will be manufacturing them there. And they will continue to employ Californians and will grow this business. It's one of the businesses that we'd like to see grow in California, a very green business. And with that, I urge an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those voters are to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally votes. Aye 66, noes 0. Measure is adopted. Members, we're going to go to file item 7, AB 42. Mr. Blakesley, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 42 by Senator Blakesley, an act relating to electricity.
Mr. Blakesley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, appreciate the opportunity to present AB 42, a bill which ensures that certain seismic hazard studies will be performed in the vicinity of the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant in the aftermath of the discovery of a large fault in very close proximity to the facility. The measure is supported by both the counties of San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties. Sierra Club Environment California, a number of other groups have received no votes. I ask for your support.
Mr. Delatorre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this measure. I know that our resident geologist in the legislature is carrying this bill because he is very concerned about the seismic activity along California's coast and its relation to some very sensitive facilities. And I know he's put a lot of work and effort into this and wanted to rise in support of this measure.
Mr. Fuentes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise in support of this very important bill. Nuclear power accounts for 15% of California's electricity. Most of this comes from Diablo Canyon. As my colleague mentioned, we do have a resident geologist, a physicist, all-around expert in the field that understands how important seismic activity could be in the event of additional activity around the faults that are near Diablo Canyon. This bill is important to provide us with the tools to determine how to make up for lost power when earthquakes cause a disruption in electricity service and reliability. This bill went through the Utilities and Commerce Committee with no votes, and I respectfully ask for your concurrence, members, on this bill.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, clerk will open the roll. All those voters are to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally votes. Aye 65, no 0. Measure is adopted. Move to file item 80, SB 124. Ms. Oropeza, Mr. Blumenfield will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 124 by Senator Oropeza and others, an act relating to air pollution.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Blumenfield.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, members, I rise in support of SB 124 by Senator Oropeza. Under current regulations, school bus drivers and other drivers of students must turn off their engine upon arriving at or within 100 feet of a school and restart the engine no more than 30 seconds before departing. They're common sense exemptions, such as for engine testing purposes, climate control, etc. What this bill originally did is it codified those regulations. It has been substantially amended in consultation and by the request of the governor's office, and now it doesn't codify those, it references those regulations, and it does a couple of other things. It makes the fines consistent across the state, which is something ARB wanted to do, and it clarifies that the locals can enforce this. So it's a good local government measure as well. There is no opposition to this on file. It's extremely important because far too many children in California suffer from asthma and other respiratory illnesses. They struggle to breathe, struggle to play and learn. They deserve better, and I urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jeffries.
Members, I rise in opposition. If you look in the dictionary and you look up micromanagement, you might find this bill. Members, the Air Resources Board has the authority to already enforce the regulations that it has adopted. This is just a duplication of their authority, and we simply don't need to be doing this, and I encourage a no vote.
Mr. Blumenfield.
Thank you. I just looked in my dictionary. I didn't see the bill. But the reason, again, this is not the original bill that was authored. This is a substantially amended bill, and there is some reasons why it's needed at this point. Because there's some, it's not clear whether the locals can enforce the current regulation, and they've asked for this to be brought forward. The governor's office feels, ARB feels that this is important to be brought forward for consistency's sake across the state. With that, I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. All debate having ceased. Clerk, open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally of votes. Ayes 44, noes 23. Measure is adopted. We'll move to file item 77, SB 641. Mr. Corbett, Mr. Fuhrer will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 641 by Senator Corbett, an act relating to the State Bar Act.
Mr. Fuhrer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. This bill is the annual state bar fees bill. It received a 39-0 vote on the Senate floor. It basically does three things. It sets the maximum the state bar can charge. There's no increase in that. Second, it allows fees that are imposed on corporations and limited liability companies to be attributed to the bar's regulatory and disciplinary systems. And the third thing is it cleans up the bar's contracting service provisions. It's a straightforward bill. Again, no opposing votes. I urge your aye vote here.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk, open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. All those voters desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 63, noes 0. Measure is adopted. We'll move to file item 82, SB 286, Onnested. Mr. Nielsen will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 286 by Senator Onnested, an act relating to the Department of Fish and Game.
Mr. Nielsen.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the Assembly, this bill allows scientific collector permits to be let to individuals and does raise that fee with their agreement. It is their bill from 47 to 60. There's been a problem with the delaying of the processing of these permits by the Department of Fish and Game, and or if one of the individuals who are doing this work, the collection, who are volunteers that have the permit, if they leave, the whole project has to be stopped and started all over again. So this bill simply does provide the costs of the fast-tracking these permits to the individuals to allow this scientific collection work to proceed. There has been no opposition. I would ask an aye vote.
Seeing no debate, clerk, open the roll. All those voters desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 67, no 0. Measure is adopted. Move to file item 83, SB 549. Senator Correa. Mr. Solario will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 549 by Senator Correa, an act relating to barbering and cosmetology.
Mr. Solario.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members.
This bill authorizes the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology to collect language, ethnicity, and gender data from new applicants and renewal licensees and requires that this information be posted on the Board's website. Current data on language and ethnicity is insufficient in the beauty industry. Nail salon workers and other beauty industry technicians are exposed to a wide array of occupational hazards. The lack of access to health and safety information in a language that both workers and owners can understand exacerbates occupational health hazards. As amended, this bill permits applicants to voluntarily report this information, and this information then, as mentioned earlier, would be posted on the BBC's website in a manner that such information does not identify individual applicants and licensees. I respectfully ask for your aye vote on this measure.
All debate. Seeing and hearing no debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. All those vote desire to vote. All those vote desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 43, noes 20. Measures adopted. File item 84, pass and retain. File item 85, 86, 87, 88, pass and retain. Move to file item 89, SB 112 by Senator Oropeza. Dr. Emerson will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 112 by Senator Oropeza and others, an act relating to healing arts and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Dr. Emerson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Senate Bill 112 changes California's certified hemodialysis technician training standards to conform with recently issued federal guidelines. This bill ensures that federal funding continues to flow to California to cover those Medicare patients being treated for end-stage renal disease, or ESRD, which occurs when kidneys permanently fail to work and dialysis is needed to survive. It is estimated that over 90% of all Californians patients with ESRD are covered by Medicare, and the reimbursement received from the federal government is estimated to be in the millions of dollars. It is vital that California's certification program be modified to meet the requirements and conditions for coverage so that 5,000 hemodialysis technicians in California will have a reasonable opportunity for timely certification by the state. This bill has bipartisan support, and I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no debate or discussion, clerk open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 63, no 0. Measures adopted. File item 90 passed. Ayes 63, no 0 on the measure. Measures adopted. File item 90 pass and retain. Move to file item 91, SB 620. Senator Wiggins, Ms. Hayashi will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 620 by Senator Wiggins, an act relating to healing arts.
Ms. Hayashi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 620 seeks to assist the healthcare workforce by addressing the shortage of primary and special care physicians throughout the state. The bill has no opposition, has the support of the California Medical Association. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate or discussion, clerk will open the roll. All those vote desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 48, noes 18. Measures adopted. File item 92, 93, 94. Pass and retain. File item 95. SB 550. Senator Flores, Ms. Hayashi will be presenting. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 550 with amendments by Assemblymember Hayashi.
Ms. Hayashi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I have amendments today. I'm not taking up the measure.
All right.
Thank you. The bill would ensure that at the point of sale, grocery stores that use checkout scanners will notify an employee that the consumer if a product is subjected to a food recall. The amendments...
Ms. Hayashi, did you indicate that you're not taking up the amendments?
No, I'm taking up the amendments, not the bill.
Very well. You may continue.
Thank you. The amendments to this bill simply ensures that big box stores who sell a large amount of food products will also be subjected to this measure, and I respectfully request your support.
Mr. Hagman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We oppose these amendments and respectfully ask for a roll call vote.
That will require a majority of the members present and voting. Clerk will open the roll. All those who desire to vote. Thank you. All those who desire to vote. All those who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 42, noes 20. Ayes 42, noes 22. On the amendments, the amendments are adopted. The bill go out to print, back on file. File 96, 97, 98. Pass and retain. Move to file item 99, SB 71. Oh, Mr. Tirico, without objection. For what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under motion resolutions, Democratic Caucus in the Members' Lounge.
Members, we will recess for a Democratic Caucus in the lounge. There's also a Republican caucus.